are looking live at the On a Couch Talking Sports Studios. Live from, like I said, the studios. And this thing. Yeah. That's all I got. Just live from our On a Couch Studios.
Cool.
Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. As always, I'm Robbie. This is Kyle. Kyle, how are you tonight, buddy? Happy Hump Day!
Not too bad, not too bad. You know, it's a little chilly tonight. I'm starting to really feel that cold weather going on, but outside of that, not too bad. How about you?
I couldn't agree more. I'm doing well. Doing well. Just living that life, man. That's about all I got. So, for tonight's episode, we're going to take sort of a different little path than we've been doing in previous episodes. Hey, listen, if you watch, this is a perfect opportunity to point out that Kyle and I are actually part of, in indirect ways, multiple shows, along with On a Couch Talking Sports. Kyle and Doug have a great show called Marvel at the Movies. You should definitely check it out on YouTube. It's amazing. I love it. And then Doug and I actually have our own show that we've mentioned before called The Sports Blitz, which this past week, last week I should say, filmed its 100th episode. And it was a lot of fun. It was very exciting. And Kyle was actually a special guest. So you should definitely check that episode out.
That was a great episode.
But
so much fun.
We will, what we'll do? We will link the 100th episode in the description. So that way you guys can watch it. Yeah, right down below. Yeah. Right down. But the reason why I bring this up is that if you watched already the 100th episode of the Sports Blitz, you'll know that I went on a little bit of a rant at during our final thoughts segment, as it's called, because of a certain issue that arose in the news in the days leading up to the filming of the episode. So what we wanted to do tonight, what we thought would be kind of fun to do tonight and cathartic, would be to kind of dive deeper into this particular issue. What is that issue, you may ask? Well, I'm going to tell you right now.
Yes, it is sports related, by the way.
And definitely is sports related. Absolutely. And it also has to do with a sport that is near and dear to my heart. It has been since I was 6 years old. Or earlier. Probably earlier than that. But listen, the issue at hand is that the lovely group PETA, People for Ethical Treatment of Animals. Try saying that 3 times fast, or just 3 times in general. Yes, the lovely people at PETA. Hey, listen, I have nothing against PETA. I want to put that out right there. I think they do overall very good work. I think that they stand for a very noble cause. But at the same time, sometimes they tend to go a little bit overboard on their targets, so to speak, for their vitriol or their complaints or whatever you want to call it. And this was one of those moments. So in recent weeks, PETA has turned their attention to good old Major League Baseball. That's right, good old MLB. And the subject of the bullpen. Now, for those of you who don't know, the bullpen is a baseball term, or in baseball terms, I should say, is the area where the pitchers warm up during a game. So if you go to a game, you see a relief pitcher, throwing pitches, warming up to go in the game. That is called the bullpen. Well, PETA does not like the fact that it is called the bullpen. And they have let their feelings be known, and they have formally, or I guess formally in their own way, because they really don't have a say in the matter, so to speak. They really can't make any changes, but they have requested to the good old folks at MLB that they change the name of the bullpen to the Arm Barn. Yes, you heard me correct. They want to change the name of the bullpen to the Arm Barn. I'm not kidding, folks. This is not a joke. This is not satire. This is real.
Talk
This
about
is
a strike.
a thing that really happened. Thank you. Good pun. I literally read this story, and I had to do a double take to make sure that it wasn't satire, that this wasn't a random practical joke, that this was, in fact, a real news story that was jumping across my computer screen. Then I had a thorough fit of laughter, and then a thorough fit of just absolute exhaustion and frustration. This is what this has come to. This is what this has come to. We are literally taking the name the Bullpen, that really does not degrade animals really in any way other than using the name of an animal in the name, and we want to change it to the Arm Barn? What? Who? I cannot even just process in my own mind that this is a real story that I am discussing right now with you all on your computer screens or phone screens, wherever you listen to us. And by the way, thank you for watching us and listening to us. We really appreciate it. There are no words. The only words that come to mind are ridiculous, embarrassing, just obnoxious, and just the really question out of exasperation is that is this really what we have come to as a society, that this is a thing that is happening? Like, it just, and I know, so listen, I kind of went on my rant during that episode, and Kyle literally, when I brought the story up, made a face that literally just encapsulated all my emotions about this story in one facial expression. It was the most classic thing. I think I couldn't even get into my rant for a few seconds because I couldn't stop laughing at Kyle's facial expression when I brought it up. But what I wanted to do today, actually, is sort of give Kyle a chance to really, now that he's had time to actually process the ludicrousness, the insanity that is this particular story, I wanted to give him a chance to sort of get off of his chest any sort of thoughts and feelings that he has about this, because I know that he has told me prior to coming on this episode that he has now a lot of thoughts and feelings and opinions.
Oh yeah, I got
this
those.
episode. So since I sort of just did my rant part two, so to speak, and since I did a huge rant on the sports news, I want to kind of just open the floor to you, Kyle. I want to just say, as your friend, I am handing the reins. Don't come after me, PETA, for saying reins.
There you go.
Yeah. That was completely not planned, but I'm so glad that I did.
Nailed it. Just nailed
it. Oh, God. This is great. This is a great episode already. No, I wanted to hand things over to you, Kyle. I wanted you to just sort of just go for it. You know, don't hold back, because I certainly didn't. Don't hold back. Just give us your from the heart, just full thoughts and opinions on this news story. Go.
All right, so I'll just begin by saying when I first heard it, the initial.
It was out of my mouth, by the way. You didn't
Yes.
hear it first out of my mouth.
It was during the Sports Split's 100th episode, and I had no idea before then. I didn't even hear anything about it or just read anything. I had no idea this was going on until they brought it up, and literally for a second I'm just kind of frozen there. I'm like, is this a joke? I literally thought this was a joke, and then I was just like, no, this is actually serious. What? Why is this going on? I had to take a mental pause when you were telling me this. I was like, I just couldn't process this. I'm because when you introduced the topic and when you said PETA is getting involved with baseball, that's how I remember you said something along those lines.
I did.
I'm just thinking, I'm like, okay, how are animals getting hurt in baseball? I just had this picture in my head. I'm like, what are baseballs being hit so far that a cow got bonked in the head by one of them or something like that? I'm just trying to. I was just trying to make all these connections before you officially announced it. I'm like, what's hurting animals in baseball?
Well, I will say this. There was one time in a baseball game, this was decades ago, that a pitcher threw the ball so hard that it literally hit and killed the bird that was flying by at that exact moment.
Well, there you go. All right, case
But
closed.
that's about it. That's about it.
So I'm just thinking, like, okay, I didn't. Baseball to me never really seemed like a dangerous sport to animals. Like, I mean, unless maybe you could argue, like, maybe like the production of leather. I mean, that's one thing. I thought it could have been something like that or whatever. But no, it's the fact that you said it was like it's the name of something, and then PETA comes in, and the fact that PETA is it's a they're supposed to be saving animals. They're a program for saving animals, or program, whatever you want to call it.
Organization.
Yeah, that's the better term for saying it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Organization.
That's right. They're going to cancel us anyway, so it doesn't really matter what we call them at this point.
Yeah, I can see
that. They're going to come after us anyway, yeah. This may be our last show, folks, so enjoy.
The On the Couch series finale it might be tonight, guys, so just tune in.
It's actually, the next episode is going to be two bulls just sitting on a couch talking about sports.
Pretty much. They're going to take it all over. PETA will now run the On the Couch channel. Despite the, I don't even think they'd even.
Hey, we already established that aliens are taking over the MBTA tonight, so apparently,
well, there you go.
Might as well.
Yep. Now we're all doomed, Robbie.
Yeah, seriously.
So I'm just like going back to the PETA thing, though. Just the fact that this organization, and they've been around for a while, and they're very well established.
Yeah.
These people are very well established, and they put all their effort into saving animals, and I've always respected them for that. But the fact that they're even lifting a hair of effort to just like go this direction and just complain and just like try to change the name of something, like, I don't understand what is can someone tell me what is offensive about a bullpen? Do you see, like, literally
just the fact that it's named Bull in it? Literally, that it just has the name Bull in it. That's about it. Like, literally, I can't think of another way that they could be offended by it other than the fact that it has literally the name Bull in it.
Yeah, I mean, look,
which is a bunch of bullshit if you ask me.
Yeah, nailed it. Which, all right,
dropping the hammer tonight.
We're throwing all the puns out there.
Yeah.
Which, if you think about it, okay, like, using the name Bullpen, do you see, like, just imagine sitting here, do you see like a bunch of bulls and cows, picketing like every baseball field in America? Is that what's going on here? Because if that's the case, that's something. And maybe bulls and cows.
That would be quite a story if you actually saw bulls and cows like picketing and holding signs like outside baseball stadium. Like that would be a story I could get behind.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love that. I'd just be sitting back and like eating popcorn at this point. I feel like I don't even care. I just want to see what happens.
Yeah.
But unless that exact thing was going on, like, who cares? I'm sorry. You guys are dedicated to saving animals. Like, actually use those resources and that time to save animals. Who the hell cares about changing a name of something? Like, this is what I'm really worried about, because they're gonna crack this shell. They're trying to crack this shell that it's gonna start with baseball. And then after that, they're gonna start like just taking away everything that has like an animal related name. Like, it's just like, guys, just it's just
pick and choose your battles, PETA.
Yeah,
pick and choose your battles.
Right, like
if you're gonna come after baseball, that's where I draw the line. Literally,
it's really stupid. Like unless I can understand if something is like racist or homophobic.
Yeah,
like if they're trying to change something like that, that's one thing. Then I will stand behind them. That's totally cool.
Or it's like derogatory towards like animals, or like, cruel to animals in some way. Like that I get. Like,
if it's physically being cruel to the animals.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
I totally understand. Then I'd be like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Do it. But the fact that they're changing just in a very established name, bulls don't give a shit. They don't care. They're not going to go to PETA and just, sorry, yeah, I know. They're not going to go to PETA and be like, oh, thank you, PETA. Thank you for changing the name to the bull. Because well, like, they're sitting out in the fields eating grass. Like, what do they have better they're not going to, like, just, I can't. Like, this is just the stupidest thing. Like, what? And then, here's the other deal, too. Here's the other layer to this thing, right? So PETA could have just stopped. They could have just said, hey, guys, we're changing the like. I would like you
Which
to
they
change the
can't,
name
by
of
the
the
way,
bullpen.
they cannot themselves change the name of the bullpen. They literally, all they've done is just, basically registered a complaint with MLB, asking them to change the name. They have no standing in this whatsoever.
Yeah, the fact
they can't stand and basically say MLB changed the name, and then all of a sudden the name's going to be changed. That's not the way it works. That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
and the funny thing is, not only do they do that, they could have just stopped there and said, "Hey, MLB, change the name." They could have just stopped right there, but no. They take the extra step of douchebaggery, and they say, "Nope, we're going to pick the name for it, and it will be the Arm Barn." I'm sorry.
No words, man. No words.
I'm sorry, PETA. I fully believe that you will not get you will not get any traction on this thing. No. I'm sorry. This is stupid. No. This is ridiculous. Just let it go. Move on. Keep saving animals. Just forget about this. You're really putting stress on something that doesn't need to be stressed about. So, there you go.
I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. I mean, it's insane. It is the definition of insanity. It's what it is. It literally is. Whatever the definition of insanity was, it's going to be wiped off the books and just replaced with this news story.
Yeah.
I have no more words to describe it other than just the fact that it's just... It shows how ridiculous sort of... And listen, I'm not saying this to sound like I'm anti-political correctness or anything like that. I get it. But this is just taking it too far. I mean, this is just going way above any sense of just whatever you want to call it. I mean, like I said, it's ridiculous.
They're in who cares territory.
Yeah, it really is ridiculous. Literally nobody except for PETA was complaining about this name, like Kyle said. And you just have to just go and butt your big old heads in there.
And I just really, you know what?
People are laughing at PETA over this. People are literally sitting back and laughing.
Yeah.
Is that what you wanted, PETA? Because you accomplished it. You have now people laughing at you. A very, a very well-known organization that, like I said, does good work. They really do have some very noble causes. But this is not the way to go to get people on your side. In fact, this is the way to kind of just turn yourselves into a noble cause to the laughing stock.
Yeah.
That's really all I got. I mean, it's exhausting. It's frustrating, and I just want no part of everything and say, PETA, be better, PETA.
Yeah, just move on, guys.
Yeah, move on. Move, get out the way. I don't know. Let it go.
There you go. Yep.
All right. Well, yeah, exactly. Well, that was our rant of the evening, and hey, listen, we hope we don't get canceled over this, but we just felt that was something that needed to be said.
Yes.
And an opinion that needed to be heard. So, hey, listen, if you have an opinion about this story, whether it's an agreement with us or even disagreement with us, feel free to comment below. Definitely.
Or even if there's any insights about it that maybe we missed, that maybe just kind of went over our heads, and maybe if you guys have any good points about anything about either side. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, feel
absolutely.
free.
We want to hear from you. Our comment lines are always open, so
always
drop them below. All right, on to... Well, actually, before we get into sort of the fantasy football and the Sue's reviews and all that stuff, I didn't want to say one more thing baseball related, and it is a little bit somber. But Red Sox Nation lost a true class act and a true legend in both the playing and commentary game. this past weekend with the passing of Jerry Remy. Jerry was a long-time broadcaster for NESN, for the Red Sox, played for the Red Sox during his MLB career, and Jerry Remy was, in a sense, Red Sox baseball and Red Sox Nation when it came to the broadcasting side of things. I mean, he really just made the Red Sox broadcast what they are today with his insight, his analysis, and his way of entertaining folks at home. With several different broadcast partners over the years, Jerry always had this way of kind of adding his own sense of humor into the broadcast while also just giving some amazing analysis and insight into everything going on in the game. And I mean, listen, as someone who grew up, in the 90s and now into the 2000s and 2010s, I mean, Jerry Remy was Red Sox baseball broadcast for me my entire life. And I've listened to him my entire life. And the fact that he I know, obviously we knew that he was battling cancer for a long time. And this was his 7th bout with cancer. I mean, he fought that thing tooth and nail for at least a decade. And the fact that he, is no longer going to be part of Red Sox broadcast, is no longer with us, it's really sad. But I think we could take comfort in the fact that, Jerry Remy was able to live his life doing what he loved, and that was watching, talking, and playing baseball, in particular Red Sox baseball. And, he'll be missed by all of Red Sox Nation. He was the president of Red Sox Nation. I mean, he invented the term Red Sox Nation, and I mean, he basically has been, just a legend in Red Sox Nation fandom for years. And just we here at Online Couch Talking Sports definitely send our deepest condolences to his family and those who loved him. Whether it be in NESN or like I said, his family in general. And he'll be missed. He will be missed. And obviously, we hope that he's resting comfortably now and no longer in pain. And I will say this, the last thing I'll say on the matter is I'm very glad that I got to see his last sort of public appearance when he appeared at the Red Sox-Yankee wild card game back earlier last month, back in early October, to throw out the first pitch. That was something that was really special. I'm glad nice. I got to see that. It's just a shame that it had to be his final public appearance. But just wanted to throw that out there. Rest in peace to Jerry Remy. Like I said, our condolences and thoughts and prayers are with the Remy family and all those, like I said, who knew him well. So, again, now to jump into some lighter stuff, it is time now for the fantasy football recap for this week. I actually had a pretty good week in fantasy, not going to lie. I went 2-0. Both my teams won and have now jumped into, one of my teams is now in, I want to say 6th place, and the other team is in 3rd place. So I'm doing okay. Dude. I'm like right, cool. I'm at 501 league, and I'm at, I think, 5-3 in another league. So I'm kind of like, I'm doing okay. I'm like the Patriots. I'm not top of the game, but I'm kind of like middle of the pack, and nice. waiting to make my move. Sort of we get deeper into the second half of the season. But like I said, had a good week fantasy wise, 2-0, and nice, very, very happy about that. And shout out to both my teams and all the players on both those teams for getting the job done. So, Kyle, why don't you tell us about how you did this week?
Well, we're going to find out. I actually haven't even looked at my fantasy team. That's how invested I am this. I think I've just lost so many times that I've just become like null to it. So we're actually going to find out right now exactly what happened. So I am predicting that, I lost again. So, just not really doing very hot right now. So, No. I'm right now my record is 1-7. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now. So,
It's okay, bud. It's okay. It's okay.
But
You're part of fantasy football is just about sort of having fun.
yeah.
You can't take it too seriously, and so
No.
you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay.
Okay. No. It is what it is. You know what? Like I said before, I'm just glad to be back in it.
Yeah.
So, it is cool to like just kind of like every now and then, like even though I don't pay attention to it quite as much as I used to, I like just kind of going back and like change up the lineup and stuff like that, and kind of keeping track of all the players. It's pretty sweet actually. It's pretty cool. So, which reminds me, actually, eventually I got to change my title. But anyways, I'll do that later. I don't want to do that on the show.
Live team management here.
That'd be kind of rude.
Talking sports.
Don't want to do that to you guys. So, yeah,
it's all right.
You guys don't. But yeah. So we'll see what happens. But yeah. So cool. That's where we're at.
All right. Hey, could be 0-8. So look at it that way.
True.
Yeah. So now it's time, obviously, for the Robbie's favorite football recap, and a bit of a mixed bag this week, although not a bad week. So I'll start at Wellesley High. Last Friday night, they traveled down to Braintree for what was their final regular season game of the season. I actually made
already, wow.
Yeah, I actually made the trip down there myself to see them in action
Cool.
against the Wombs, which was very exciting, and they came out with a win.
Nice.
Which is very good. Very happy to see that. They closed the regular season on a 3-game winning streak, which is awesome, and are 6-2 heading into the playoffs, which they did qualify for, and they will now make the trip to Lincoln-Sudbury for their first playoff game on Friday night, so a couple nights from now. So we'll see how they do, but still another year, another playoff berth for Raider football, so congratulations to them, and best of luck in their postseason run. Fortunately, BC had a kind of a tough weekend. They lost 21-6 at Syracuse, their 4th straight loss. Right now, just they're having some quarterback issues right now, and the offense that's having a little bit of trouble getting going. But hopefully, they could turn the ship around, so to speak. They do have a big home game coming up Friday night. With Virginia Tech coming to town, so very excited about that. Always look forward to those night games, especially against an opponent like Virginia Tech. Always a fun matchup. So definitely, like with the Wellesley LS game, we'll definitely have a recap of that on next week's edition of On a Couch. And then finally, the Patriots, they got their 2nd straight win. On Sunday, beating the Chargers. Very exciting game. They had a pick 6 that was the sort of the deciding touchdown, and like I said, just very exciting to see the Pats get their 2nd win in a row. They're now standing at 4-4, back to 500, and we'll be looking to get above 500 this weekend as they travel to Carolina, to Charlotte, to face the Carolina Panthers. So very much looking forward to that one. Hopefully, that come this time next week, the Pats will have a winning record. We shall see. Right. But yeah, that's what I got for this week's edition of the Robbie's Favorite Football Recap. And now is time for your favorite part of the show, I'm sure. You probably can't say that when I talk, but you definitely always seem to listen to this guy. It is another edition of the Suze Reviews, and I will once again hand the ball over to Kyle for another review. So take it away.
Cool. So I'll do 2 quick ones this time.
Ooh, a double review. Very, very fancy.
Yeah, I wanted to change up a little bit. So because one of them is going to be kind of I'll start with the James Bond review. So last time I reviewed.
James Bond.
The last, essentially, the Suze Reviews segment that I did got cut kind of short.
Yeah. So, Kyle turned into a magician at the end of last episode.
It was great. I know all the magic spells, especially how to change clothes at random times, all that stuff. So, I just to kind of sum up that review. I know you guys heard a little bit of it, and I think I started going into saying how you should definitely watch the other four Daniel Craig movies before you watch this one, because they do link together. Like the old Bond movies, you can kind of watch them out of order, and it's not going to really hurt the experience of the movie overall, for the most part. But in this case, for the new Daniel Craig movies, starting with Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, Spectre, and the new one, No Time to Die. You need to watch them in order, in that exact order. By the way, like, because then if you do it like you did with the old movies, it's not gonna work. It's like you're gonna be very confused at where the story is at. Like they really tried to make this like a saga. I really liked it. Like a, what do you call it? Not a trilogy, because it's 5 movies. So something. If anyone can just tell me what a 5 movie arc means, and whatever that word is. But so yeah, just to sum it up, No Time to Die, the new Bond movie that came out, is really good. I really enjoyed it. I thought the action scenes were great. The story was very emotional. The villain was really great too, played by Rami Malek. I'm not going to spoil that kind of what his whole deal is, because once you figure out who he is, why he's there, then it's very interesting. Like they really have a very interesting kind of backstory for him and a lot of the other characters in the movie, and you kind of see how things like connect in a very interesting way, I thought. But yeah, it's a great movie, great action movie. It is the longest Bond movie, by the way. This movie's almost 3 hours, so if you're gonna watch in the theaters or wait to till it comes out on streaming or video or whatever, then just prepare to buckle down, because it's a pretty long movie. It is technically actually I think the longest Bond movie of all time. So, but Daniel Craig is as he's always great in that movie in those movies. So, I thought he really nailed in a really great final performance for his character. It was like the movie made it very clear that this is the last movie in the franchise, and that they're gonna try, I think, to reboot, or I don't know, just bring a new actor. I don't know how they're gonna do it for the next series, but yeah. So great movie, definitely check it out. The next review I wanted to go into was I wanted to kind of jump from movies to games, and so the game I want to talk about was Resident Evil 8, also known as Resident Evil Village. So I started playing that. So I can't really give you guys a full review, because I've only gotten through like the first kind of section of it, but it really is a great game. I love it personally, because it kind of is like a 3D exploration style game. It does have survival horror elements. It's not a it's not as much of a survival horror game, I feel, as the older Resident Evil games. Those games were very much like they gave you very little weapons and ammo for your guns and stuff like that. You had to fight zombies in the original games, and they gave you very little resources. You really had to kind of like, it was a very interesting experience in which you couldn't just like go in guns a-blazing shooting all the zombies. You had to think before you did stuff. There were a lot of puzzles, and it definitely very much a thinking person's game, very much a reactionary game too. Like you really have to kind of choose what the best course of action was in that game. So it wasn't just going in guns a-blazing. This game is a little more of that. They give you a lot of weapons, and they give you a lot of ammo. So it does feel a bit more like a traditional kind of shooter, and I think that might upset a lot of hardcore Resident Evil fans. And to me, it wasn't quite as scary as some of the other ones too. This game deals with werewolves, and to a lot of people, werewolves are pretty scary. But here, it's more of an action game. It's more of an open area that you're in. You're in this like creepy rundown village, and you have to find. And basically, the whole story of this game is that your wife gets killed. So the main character you play is named Ethan. And his wife gets killed very much from the beginning, and you have to find this baby that was abducted. And so Ethan goes to this creepy village, and it's Yeah, it's a very interesting game. Like it's got a very interesting atmosphere, very action packed, like I said, and yeah. So it's pretty much just him exploring the village. And the first area I went to was this castle. It was called Castle Dimitrescu, and very horror based. Just like you this creepy tall lady you kind of had to fight. And you had to run away from actually for a little while. It kind of plops you in this like big castle and you explore and you kind of have to like find locked doors and I thought that mechanic was really good. And like I said, it wasn't quite as scary as the other games, but this game I really like how they just handled the general gameplay, and they still keep some. The puzzles are a bit lighter. You can definitely figure the puzzles out very easily, but it's still a very fun game. I love the exploration aspect, and you can also upgrade your weapons too, which is kind of cool. So, in that sense, it's kind of more like a Metroidvania, kind of more like Castlevania Symphony of the Night. That game wasn't really scary either, but it was so much fun to play, and that's what I really like about this game. So, if you're looking, I would give this easily a recommend, but I'll give you guys more of a full review once I play more of the game. So, yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you, Kyle, for that lovely review, which, by the way, I just captured on, not just, well, we just captured on there, but I also captured on a little in-show, a video within a video, so to speak, on my phone here, so you can check that out on my Instagram, at Robbie03901. I think that's what my Instagram is. Hold on. Yeah, if you want to see it, discard you. Yeah. No, if you want to see some lovely behind-the-scenes footage that I just took just now, yeah, Robbie03901 on Instagram. So definitely be posting that up momentarily. But yeah, that is going to wrap up this week's edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. Thank you, as always, for tuning in, and PETA, please don't kill us.
Yeah.
So that does it. As always, he's Kyle. I'm Robbie, and we're on a couch. And we'll see you next time here on episode. What am I trying to say? On the next episode of On a Couch Talking Sports. Sorry, I can't speak. It's been a long day. See you, everybody. Listen to me right now, very carefully, people. I refuse to go down the Adele road.
Why?
Period. End of story.
She's a good singer, so I wouldn't judge you if you did.
No.
Well,
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
It's okay. Just let yourself, just let it consume you.
I'm going to do it. No.
Yeah.
No.
Sometimes you really got to roll in that deep, Robbie. That note. Bye.
Wow, that actually was easier than I thought. See, folks, I've been plotting for months now to try to actually get rid of Kyle as co-host, and so just me having like a little mini breakdown there apparently was all I needed to do to get him to actually leave. So now it's just you and I, the viewer, Oh, he's back.
Oh, hey, what's up? I was just fixing the light. How you doing? What were we saying about
Nothing.
Me as a co-host and all that stuff?
Nothing at all. Just saying what a wonderful co-host you are and how I wouldn't trade you for the world.
How could you say that, Robbie? That's it.
Alright, well, again, now that I have you all to myself, I just wanted to let you know that, if anybody would be interested in actually filling in as a permanent co-host of the sports...
Oh, there we go. Okay, anyways, so as Robbie was saying, if anyone needs a spot as a permanent co-host, I'm, putting out the application, so there you go.
I said the sports blitz instead of on my couch talking sports.